Forgot to record. So when we're finding the discriminant, the key part is that your equation, your quadratic, must be in standard form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And this is that confusing part because sometimes we want the problem to be in standard form, other times we want it to have c by itself. Sometimes if we're solving by square roots, we want it to be x squared by itself. We want to isolate the x. So we've got all of these different rules. So going back to finding the discriminant, which is part 1 of the quadratic formula, you want it to be back in standard form. And the purpose of the discriminant is that the discriminant determines how many solutions a quadratic has. It's a way of checking your work. It's a way of checking your work. So the discriminant is going to determine how many solutions a quadratic has. Dayton, will you take out your earbud, and Eli, will you put your computer away? Thank you. A discriminant determines how many solutions a quadratic has. So like you can look at this discriminant before you even start the problem and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have 2 answers. Or really the best one is, oh, this is a no solution. If you use your discriminant, then you can skip the problem. Because your discriminant is going to tell you how many solutions there are. It's going to tell you there are 2 solutions. It's going to tell you there's 1 solution. Or it's going to tell you there are no solutions. It tells you how many solutions a quadratic has. And here's how it does it. If the answer to the discriminant is greater than 1. No, I meant 0, sorry. Greater than 0. So what kind of values are greater than 0? Positives, right? If the answer is greater than 0, there are 2 solutions. And this is written as A for answer is greater than 0. Which is a little confusing because there's an A in our problem, but this A stands for answer, not the A value in the problem. So if the answer to the discriminant is greater than 0, there are 2 solutions. If the answer is equal to 0, there's 1 solution. Which is shown by A equals 0. So if your discriminant is equal to 0, you do the math and you get an answer of 0, you know there's only going to be 1 solution to your problem. If you find the discriminant, you do the math, and your answer is greater than 0, it's positive, you're going to have 2 solutions. What do you think this last rule is? You got it. If the answer is less than 0, there's no solution. And what kind of numbers are less than 0? Negatives. So that's written like this. And again, Don't get confused. In this part right here, the A stands for answer, not the A value in an equation. All right, here's the discriminant formula. The discriminant formula is b squared minus 4ac. Which is part of the quadratic formula. So first, remember we need to have our problem in standard form. After you put it in standard form, you substitute and simplify. And last but not least, determine the number of solutions. Excuse me. At least I turned off my microphone. All right, ready? 3x squared plus 10x plus 2 equals 0. 3x squared plus 10x plus 2 equals 0. Step 1, is it in standard form? So we're good to go. Step 2, substitute and simplify. Meaning, instead of b squared minus 4ac, which is the discriminant, I'm going to substitute in. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever you substitute, what should you always use? Parentheses. All right, so b squared. What's my b value? 10. So 10 squared minus 4. What's my a value? 3. And what's my c value? 2. b squared minus 4ac. I mean, you can do mental math if you want to. Said no middle schooler ever. 10 squared minus 4 times 3 times 2. I type it straight in my calculator. I get 76. So how many solutions are there in this problem? 2 solutions, 0 solutions, 1 solution. We got 76. Where does 76 fit in this? 76, is it greater than 0, equal to 0, less than 0? So there are 2 solutions. That's it. That's finding the discriminant. There are 2 solutions to this problem. We'll find them later. Yeah, not now. Yeah. Let's do 9x squared equals 6x minus 1. So it's quadratic. It has an exponent of 2. So we have to write it in standard form. So, who can tell me this in standard form? Ella?
You move the 6x and then move 1, so then it'd be 9x squared minus 6x plus 1.
Good. You have to move these two across, so you do inverse operations. All right, so again, please don't forget, anytime you substitute, use parentheses. So my b value is now negative 6 squared minus 4, what's my a value? 9, what's my c value? Positive 1. Negative 6 times negative 6 is 36. Minus 4 times 9 is 36, times 1 is 36. 36 minus 36 equals what? 0. So how many solutions are there? 1 solution. What do you think is a common mistake when you get 0 as your answer? You say that there's 0 solution, so no solution, right? No. And here's why. Could you find the square root of 76? How many answers are there to the square root of 76? 2. There's a positive solution and a negative solution, correct? Can you find the square root of 0? Yeah. What times what equals 0? 0. But does 0 have a positive and negative value? So the square root of 0 is just 0. The square root of 76 is positive 76 or negative 76. What if I got a negative value? Can you take the square root of a negative value? No. So that's why if it's greater than 0, it's 2 solutions because you have a positive and a negative value. If it's equal to 0, you only have 1 solution because the square root of 0 is 0. And then you have